Hello everybody, my name is NCSO7 here. Welcome to the Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3 Iceberg. This is going to be an Iceberg covering both these games, so if you haven't played them, you probably should do that. I also know that this isn't one of my longer Icebergs, but it's just kind of, I wanted to do this as a little video to put in between bigger projects. I'll have a bigger Iceberg coming out soon, but yeah, that's it. You should know how icebergs work. Let's just begin. Canon D-Rank Mansion. At the beginning of Luigi's Mansion 2, or Dark Moon, Luigi's house is that of the D-Rank Mansion from the first game's ending, as you can see here. Though, weirdly in Mario Kart Double Dash on the Luigi Circuit stage, she actually has the A-Rank Mansion. I'm not really sure what that means, but then again though, Mario Kart's likely non-canon, so nice little attention to detail. Ghost. So if you take all the first letters of each mansion in Luigi's Mansion 2 and put them together, it spells out the word ghost. That's pretty much it. Luigi's Mansion Arcade. This is an arcade game made by Capcom and released in 2015 in Japan and sometime in 2016 and 2017 for the rest of the world, and basically functioned as an on-rail shooter version of Luigi's Mansion 2, where you use a poltergeist to defeat the ghosts. Yeah, it's kind of wild. You can typically find these in Dave & Buster's in the USA, and have played it myself. It is quite a lot of fun. I would definitely check it out if you can. I mean, it's not crazy unique, but it is cool though. Luigi's Mansion 3 DLC. In 2020, paid DLC was added to Luigi's Mansion 3 for $10, which included more minigames for Scream Park, as well as costumes for Scarescraper. New floor types were added, though I don't think the floor types had to be paid for. I think it was just the costumes and the minigames for Scream Park. Side note, did anyone ever play Scream Park? Like, be real here, you never played it. Rare Ghosts in Luigi's Mansion 3. There's a section in the gallery where you can find the rare ghosts, and these are the ghosts that you can fight in the Scarescraper mode in Luigi's Mansion 3, and are encountered every 5 floors and can be pretty difficult to capture, especially by yourself if you're trying to fill out the gallery. And filling these out can be really annoying because getting all of them, it's complete and utter chance which ones you get, so good luck getting all of them. Since 1983. In Mario's room on the 5th floor in Luigi's Mansion 3, you can see pizza boxes with the text "Since 1983", which is referencing the original Mario Brothers, which was the first game that Luigi was included in. Gooigi's Origins. Gooigi was actually created during Luigi's Mansion 2 by experimenting on strange liquid called goo, which eventually formed into Luigi, creating Gooigi, to which EGAD would then send him back in time to the first game's remake on the 3DS, functioning as the second player of that game, to eventually being used once again in Luigi's Mansion 3 as both the second player, as well as a major mechanic in the game. There's more to this detailed in the Professor EGAD research journal, which I will leave a link in the description for that if you want to check out that. Luigi's Mansion 3 teased in Smash Bros. In August of 2018, a Smash Direct was held showing Simon Belmont for Smash Ultimate as a newcomer. However, in that reveal trailer, it actually shows Luigi with the poltergeist from Luigi's Mansion 3, the poltergeist G00. And at the time, there were theories going around that a potential new Luigi's Mansion game was being made, and 1 month later, Luigi's Mansion 3 would get revealed. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD differences. There are many differences in the remaster of Luigi's Mansion 2 on the Switch to the original 3DS version. And while yes, many of them are graphical, there are some more interesting ones. For example, HD Rumble and Twin Stick controls have been included, as well as the first person sections having the X button reset the camera. The game's also locked to 30 FPS rather than being uncapped, where it could theoretically get all the way to 60 FPS on the 3DS version, which was just kind of inconsistent. And also the Boo in the Mission A5 Sticky Situation having his name changed from Ooga Booga to Beethoven. I had to really think that one through to say. The Garage Sale. In Luigi's Mansion 2, later in the game, it's revealed that EGAD sold the King Boo portrait from the first Luigi's Mansion game in a garage sale, which practically serves as the reason why the later Luigi's Mansion games happened in the first place. Though, I mean, I guess it doesn't fully explain how King Boo got out of the portrait. Even so, it's something that really shows that EGAD doesn't really have a lot of care in the world about some of these things, which won't be the last time we mention that on this Iceberg. Different flashlights in Luigi's Mansion 3. In Luigi's Mansion 3, you can actually customize what the flashlight shows. For example, there's just the basic blank one, but there's also one that shows a boo when you complete all the achievements, and a Polterpup one for purchasing the DLC. Luigi's Mansion 2 regional differences. There are many differences between the US and European versions of Luigi's Mansion 2. For example, the European version has the pixelator called the Pixel Shifter, and several lines of dialogue are made to be more simple. And seriously, there's like loads and loads and loads of text differences. I couldn't even list all of them here. If you do want to know more about these, I recommend checking out the Cutting Room Floor page on this. I'll leave a link in the description below because there's a lot of stuff. Luigi pushing. This is a well-known glitch that can be used in speedrunning in Luigi's Mansion 3. It involves putting Luigi against a wall or object, then switching to Luigi and then firing a plunger at Luigi's head, then stunning Luigi with the flashlight and running into him, which will cause Luigi to get pushed through objects, such as for one example being the purple gates that pop up during required ghost catching sequences. If you want to know more about this, I recommend checking out HD Speedrun's video on the topic. He does a much better job explaining it than I ever could. 3 ranks in Luigi's Mansion 3. Similar to the first Luigi's Mansion game, you get a rank at the end of the game based on how much money you have. And I'm just going to put on screen the requirements for each of these 3 ranks, so yeah, there you go. Poltergust 4000. You may be wondering why the Poltergust model jumped from 3,000 from the first game to 5,002. That's because the 4000 was actually in Mario Kart DS as a kart in that game. Which is weird, though it is unknown whether or not Mario Kart is canon to the Luigi's Mansion series, but it's just weird to me that this exists. Like, what is this? Physics glitches in Luigi's Mansion 3. Because there's so many objects in Luigi's Mansion 3 that can be moved around in every single room, there are some times where the physics may be a little bit out of whack, and the objects can do some very weird stuff. Son of a Glitch did a video showcasing some of these glitches. I will, again, leave a link to that in the description down below. Though these do happen quite randomly, so it's not always going to be a guaranteed sort of thing to happen. Helen Gravely's makeup. In the FAQ section of the guide in Luigi's Mansion 3, one of the questions mentions how Helen Gravely uses something called Geist paint for makeup. Yeah, I don't really know why this is here. It's a really weird piece of lore, but okay. Luigi's left arm glitch. In Luigi's Mansion 2, right before EGAD calls you, push any direction on the D-pad to have Luigi call out Mario, or, well, just call out hello or whatever. And then after the animation of Luigi putting his arm up and down happens, you get the call, but you may notice that Luigi's arm just sticks to his side, not moving at all. This may be caused due to the call animations not loading the animations for his left arm or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but what I am sure of is that this can also be done in the Switch remaster. This is like one of the easiest glitches to pull off in like the entire series. It's really weird to me that this is like still here. Polterpup's pupils. At the end of Luigi's Mansion 2, it's shown that once the ghosts get their pupils back with the Dark Moon being restored, they aren't hostile anymore. Though Polterpup loses them in Luigi's Mansion 3, despite still being an ally in the game, so why are they gone? Well, it is possible that due to them being outside of Evershade Valley, it may not have an effect on the ghosts anymore, but I don't completely know. Or it may have just been a design choice, I don't know. Luigi's Mansion 2 plushies. You may have heard of the companies called Sané, I hope I said that right. They're most known for making plushies of Mario characters, and some plushies were made of Luigi with the Poltergust and the Polterpup in that game. And these plushies are pretty cool in my opinion. I even have a Polterpup one myself. And these plushies are also very cheap to get online, so if you want these, really, you're not spending too much. Luigi's Mansion 3 Limited Statue. In 2019, the company First 4 Figures would release a special Luigi and Polterpup statue to commemorate Luigi's Mansion 3. You can find these on their website for a little bit above $100 and they look pretty cool. It even has a cool little glow in the dark effect, which is nice. Personally, I kind of want one at this point. Maybe I'll get one at some point. Not now though, because I need to save money, and you probably should too. Debug mode. Through hacking Luigi's Mansion 2 or its remaster, you can access various different debug features. Some of these include a rectangle with a face that changes depending on the frame rate, as well as switches to unlock all the missions or loading any mission. Yeah. Puzzle swap panel video. So these are little panel mini games that can be played in the Street Pass Me Plaza on the 3DS. And one of these puzzles was based off of Luigi's Mansion 2 and shows a video showing Luigi getting chased by a ghost running through a hallway, similar to that one room in Scooby-Doo. If I'm not playing the clip, I'm going to show it here so you can see the thing in full, so there's that. Luigi from the start. In the first trailer for Luigi's Mansion 3, if you look closely, you can see Luigi in the Poltergust, either meaning you would get him from the start, or was only there for the trailer. Considering this was a year before the game would come out, it's possible they may not have fully implemented it yet. Who knows? Unused Luigi's Mansion 3 music. In the files, there are 3 songs that were cut from the final game. One being a simple version of the main theme, which I'll just play here since it's like 8 seconds long. And another one is an extended version of the Time Running Out theme in Scarescraper, with a section that can't be heard in the game, as well as a different version of the final phase of the fishhook fight. Tantalus Media. If you're wondering who made the Switch remaster for Luigi's Mansion 2, well, it was actually made by Tantalus Media. You might not have heard of that name, but they're mostly known for doing the remasters for The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, as well as a bunch of licensed games. I'm not entirely sure of how great the company is reputation-wise, because I haven't really played most of their games, but I think it is a possible reason as to why Luigi's Mansion 2 HD wasn't the most interesting remaster out there. Silver keys. In early versions of Luigi's Mansion 2, the keys were silver instead of gold. This is probably just this way, just temporarily. They probably made them gold to fit with the first game, as well as just to maybe look a little bit nicer. That's just my thoughts. Hearts in jars. In the first mission of Treacherous Mansion, you eventually find an underground lab that contains hearts in jars that you can break with one of the objects in the room to replenish your health. But it does kind of make you wonder whether or not these are hearts of the deceased, as this whole lab is just one big Frankenstein reference. So, where did they come from? Who did they come from, more specifically? One cycling boss ghosts. In Luigi's Mansion 3, there's actually a way to beat some of the boss ghosts in one cycle. And what I mean by that is that the boss can never enter another phase of its fight. For example, you can drain Stewart's health down just enough, then let go of him, and then flash him once again to quickly stun him, and then you can continue suctioning. You can do this on many boss ghosts and is used in speedruns of the game. Egad's true intentions. It is unknown what Egad truly wants, as he has shown several times throughout the series that he has an interest in research ghosts and collecting them, though he ends up selling King Boo's portrait in a garage sale, which I've mentioned before. kicking the conflict of Luigi's Mansion 2 off, and in Luigi's Mansion 3, he shows a desire to leave and gets annoyed at Luigi for wanting to stay to save his friends. Yeah, EGAD definitely is kind of weird, and that's not even to include some of his roles in the other games, and even just other Mario games in general. So yeah, EGAD is one weird guy. Stage select in Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Going back to the debug mode, in the Switch remaster, there's an option that shows a stage select for all of the levels. And while this was in the 3DS version, it wasn't actually possible to use. It's just kind of weird that they would update it specifically for the remaster when only really data miners and hackers would really be able to use it. Horrific accidents. In an early build of Luigi's Mansion 2, EGAD mentioned that the reason the old Clockworks was shut down was due to horrific accidents. However, this is not in the final version of the game. It was likely changed so that way it would sound less disturbing. That's just what I think, though. Unused Rumpus Room song. There's an unused song that would play in the Rumpus Room in the Haunted Towers. I'll just play it here. It's unknown what it was going to be for. Maybe there was going to be a minigame of some kind in that room. I'm not sure. Red coins in Luigi's Mansion 3. In the Scare-Scraper data in Luigi's Mansion 3, there's a graphic for a red coin that can be found. It's believed that it would function similarly to how it was in Luigi's Mansion 2, where in Luigi's Mansion 2's Scare-Scraper, you'd collect all 4 of them at the end of a floor, and then one person would get a power-up for the next floor. This was likely scrapped due to them reworking the power-ups to which you would just find them on the floors, as opposed to, like, literal luck. Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Wii U. In the E3 2019 Treehouse gameplay of Luigi's Mansion 3, the devs mentioned at one point that the game was being worked on the Wii U. It is unknown how far it got into development on the system, but I would say it's probably for the best that Luigi's Mansion 3 got its way onto the Switch. Beta Lab in Luigi's Mansion 2. In the E3 2011 build of Luigi's Mansion 2, EGAD's lab had a very different look, with the monitors having different things on the screens and what could be an early design for the Scare-Scraper Tower. Also, when Luigi gets pixelated, the animation plays differently with him not being scared at all. Original bosses in Luigi's Mansion 2. In an Iwata Asks, it was later revealed that the bosses in Luigi's Mansion 2 were originally going to be more generic, though these were eventually changed to be more on the unexpected side. So if you are wondering why the bosses in Luigi's Mansion 2 can feel really random, that's why. Gloomy Manor Impossible Elevator. If you look at the map and see where the elevator is, and where the entry to the cellar is located, you can see that the elevator doesn't follow properly in the right spot. This could just be a thing for the map in the game, just so there isn't a huge gap of it above where you can't explore, but it is still very weird that it's like this. Luigi's Mansion 2's original release. Originally, Luigi's Mansion 2 was intended to release at some point in 2012, though would eventually get pushed back to 2013. This was either due to the Year of Luigi happening in 2013, or because they just wanted to simply refine the game more and more, or both. It is unknown. Amadeus Wolfgeist created the infiltration theme. This is a theory that Amadeus Wolfgeist, one of the boss ghosts in Luigi's Mansion 3, created the song that plays in the infiltration missions in Luigi's Mansion 2. This is mostly based on the fact that one of the rooms on his floor, you can play a piano and it'll just play the infiltration theme. So there's that. This is just a theory, but I mean it's possible. The reason for the Dark Moon name. In the North American and South Korean releases of Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS, the game was called Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. But why? As all other versions stuck with the 2. It is completely unknown and nothing has ever been said on it to my knowledge at the very least. And even when the Switch remaster was made, they just called it Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Some people speculate that it was just for marketing, or because they wanted it to be more standalone due to how different it was to the first game. It's unknown, and it's unknown if we'll ever get to find out the true meaning behind the Dark Moon name. And that was the Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3 Iceberg. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned some cool stuff. Again, check the links in the description down below. I have a bunch of links down there for stuff if you want to learn more about certain stuff. Like the Luigi speedrun tricks, or like the unused music of Luigi's Mansion 2, because it's not the easiest to fit into this video. So I definitely recommend checking those out. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I know it wasn't one of my longer icebergs, but I hope you guys enjoyed regardless. Hopefully you learned something new, because that's kind of the whole point of these icebergs, in my opinion, is learning at least one new thing that you didn't know before. I don't know what my next iceberg will be, but we'll just wait and see on that. That's really it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out and take care.